I want to talk to you about one verse out of David's story. Never alone is what I want to just share with you for a little bit today. And you remember the shepherd's psalm in Psalm 23. And rather than read the whole thing, it's one of my favorites and yours too. I've read every passage word for word. I've preached a number of sermons from them. Today I'm just going to go to verse 4, where David says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." And I want to tell you 4 truths from the 4th verse of David's psalm. The first one is the obvious one. We will walk through the valley of the shadow of death many times in life. For a long time, I didn't know there was actually a place they have nicknamed. I don't know if it was called that when David wrote this, but it is the passage where he would have traveled countless times, and it is so treacherous and so dangerous that if the elements or the animals don't get you, the thieves and robbers will. Because there were so many places to ambush travelers who had no choice but to cut through the gap of the mountains, and that was the only passage. And if you were stuck at night going that way because you didn't have a place to stay before you hit that range, you were taking your life in your own hand. And it has become named that. You can Google it and find photos of that very pass through the mountains. That has been called the Valley of the Shadow of Death. You went through there at night when the shadows had fallen at your own risk. You might not make it out alive. And you might make it out alive and broke. You might not have anything else with you. But that's not what David was referring to. Now, if it was even called that then, he might have used it for that expression, but what David was actually referring to was life's experiences, period. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You have experiences in life that are just like that pass that is now named that in Israel. There are times that you go through things that you don't know if you're going to die or not. David's phrase is not, "Yea, though I walk through death." David's phrase was, "Yea, though I walk through the valley where the shadow of death falls on me." I'm always aware that death is around the next corner. I could die. Some of you in this room and some of you watching, you have gone to the doctor to get your report, and it was not what you wanted. It was bad news. The word cancer always seems ominous when you get it, and some of you have gotten that word. Several of you in this room have had cancers removed by surgery. Some of you have had chemo, radiation. Some of you might still be taking it right now. We've got some friends just started this week having to take their treatment, radiation. We've got a couple of friends who are actually trying some experimental things, hoping that it will work because surgery is not really an option. Now, it's easy for us to talk about that medically. We'll Google things. Oh, look at this, look at that. How about that treatment there? That might work. But when you're the one gets that news, you know exactly what this verse means. Because in that moment, when you're on the phone and a doctor is saying, "Well, can you come in? I need you to just come in. Why don't you come in Wednesday?" "Well, can you just tell me? I just need you to come in." Boy, already things, well, that's not right. This doesn't sound good. And then you go, and if you hear that news, you know exactly what David was writing. I'm not dead. I hope I don't die. But right now, there's a shadow falling on me that is heavier than I want to deal with. It's bigger than I've never been to this place before. You will experience that many times in life.